It's the Ray Power 100.5 FM, the ultimate morning show. Welcome back to the Abuja studios. I hope you enjoyed Sports Mix there. Time for us to take a look at the daily streaks and nights forth right here in the studio. All right, so we'll be starting off with the front page of the gwg.ng. But first off, do know that we're currently streaming live on YouTube as well. So to the gwg.ng, PFIPC saga. Adeyemi arrested moments after court issued bench warrant. Starts on the front page, continues on page 3. Reps withdraws own state police bill. Consider Tinubu's executive proposal. Page 3. Oyo abduction. Presidency rejects Makinde's call for UN probe. Page 2. Final evacuation flight from South Africa on Wednesday. Page 3. Gain freedom starts on the front page, continues on page 3, and that's the gwg.ng.
All right, on Standard Times, we have NYSC to blacklist employers who fail to provide accommodations, transport for core members. That story is on page 5. Oyo abduction. Senate chides Governor Makinde over call for UN probe. Oyo Assembly backs governor's call. That story is on page 8. Appeal Court reserves judgment on deregistration of ADC, Accord, and 3 other parties. Stories on page 4. Police rescue kidnapped AAU student, kill 1 suspect, and finally, boost for Nigeria content at Shell awards $518 million contract in 2025. That's it on Standard Times.
All right, now away from the Standard Times to the Daily News Crafts, we have State Police gather steam as Tinubu seeks constitutional amendment, submits new bill to NAS. Gbajabiamila, Delta Speaker, back power devolution, reps pledge quick passage, page 2. Oyo kidnap reunion, Lautech Teaching Hospital discharges 31 rescued pupils, page 3. Bari Water Supply Network has provided over 1,600 direct jobs. That's from the president on page 13. FG moves to ease economic reforms, pains, unveils advisory body, page 10. Husband allegedly murders wife inside Imo church. Police launch manhunt, page 8. Insecurity. Senate urges FG to intensify military operations against terrorists, bandits, page 3. Suspend Gbajabiamila like Buhari did Babachir Lawal. Article tells Tinubu, page 10. Appeal Court ruling. Don't help Tinubu destroy democracy. ADC warns judiciary on page 7. We also have local content boost. Shell awards $518 million contracts to indigenous firms. That's the Daily Newscraft.
All right, on the Leadership newspaper, we have rescued Oyo people has hole in the heart, says Lautech CMD. That story is on page 20. PFIPC scandal, Adeyemi arrested in Osun, taken to Abuja. Stories on page 4. Dangote refinery begins pricing local fuel sales in dollars. Stories on page 7. And finally, reps withdraw own state police bill, consider Tinubu's proposal. That story is on page 4, and that's about it on the Leadership newspaper.
All right, now to the Daily Independent. Renewed Middle East unrest. $84 crude may boost Nigeria's revenue amid inflation fears. Pension assets jump 51% to 31.48 trillion naira in 2 years. That's from Pencom on page 7. Go after other bandits, terrorists nationwide. Senate tells FG, page 29. NCDC raises the alarm as Lassa fever claims 221 lives in 6 months. Page 6. Scandal against Gbajabiamila can't be swept aside. That's from article on page 7. Foreign inflows. All export revenue drive Nigeria's reserve recovery. Starts on the front page of the Daily Independent. Engineering key to Nigeria's progress, says APC National Chairman, page 6. Reps rescind past state police bill for Tinubu's version, and very interesting one what that version is. Starts on the front page of the Daily Independent. That's the Daily Independent.
All right, moving on to Nigerian News Direct, stopping the headlines. Pension assets hit record 31.48 trillion naira as federal government clears year arrears. 51% growth in retirement savings as Pencom unveils fresh reforms for informal sector. You can read that story on page 5. GT Bank named Nigeria's best performing bank. Stories on page 17. Police arrest self-acclaimed PFIPC DG. Rep step down alteration bill to consider executive version. And finally, Bago retains Garuba as running mate in Niger Guba. And that's it on Nigerian News Direct.
All right, now to the Al Jazeera. Nigeria, we have insecurity. Tinubu transmits state police bill, seeks speedy passage by reps as lower chamber passes revised proposal for second reading. Page 9. FG trains 40 youths to safeguard Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Page 4. Fake agency scandal. Police arrest Adeyemi hours after court order. Page 17. ENO reaffirms commitment to core members' welfare. Page 16. Customs intercepts 26.5 billion naira cannabis at Apapa Port. Page 7. Building collapse. Fire service rescues 6 in Kano. That's on page 17. Business confidence slips amid rising operational costs. That's a CBN survey on page 15. And remembrance, Lai Mohammed hails Buhari's integrity, compassion 1 year after. Starts on the front page, continues on page 3. That's Al Jazeera, Nigeria there.
All right, on the Whistler, we have domestic debt servicing gulps 19 trillion naira in 3 years. Troops arrest suspected foreign ISIS operative after Ford Borno attack. NYSC threatens to blacklist employers over poor core members' welfare. ADC seeks Nafiu Bala's prosecution over alleged forged INEC document. Senate rejects Makinde's call for UN probe of Oyo school abduction. Customs seizes 27 billion naira cannabis hidden inside imported vehicles. Tinubu Dangote back tougher sanctions for erring engineers. And finally, alleged fake presidential council DG arrested after court order. That's it on the Whistler.
All right, so those are the papers. But we have the business NGF for business stories. Don't commercialize education. Parents tell FG over WAEC NECO fee increase. We also have FG's bond borrowing rises 77.8% to 5.08 trillion naira in 6 months. CAC begins enforcement of mandatory company details on business letters from August. And Reps panel directs OAGF to detail revenues owed by CBN and NPCL. Page 2. And NIM cannot alone track criminals using victims' phones. And NIMC DG explains page 2. And that's the business NG. So we took a look at the GWG, Daily Newscraft, Daily Independent, Al Jazeera, Nigeria.
Also, Standard Times, a leadership newspaper, Nigerian News Direct, and The Whistler.
All right, so this morning, state police bill also on the front page this morning. And it's one, that's a concern for every single Nigerian out there. What are the details in that bill? Now that the papers are, reporting that the first one has been, rescinded, revised, and then the second one has been put up. So what are the new details, new additions or subtractions in that bill? Is a very important one that Nigerians absolutely should get clarity on, so that at the end of the day, when a bill is passed, when we don't start hearing, of, oh, you added this was not supposed to be it in it. Some lawmakers also will not come out and say, oh, they didn't know what was in it, they didn't know this was added and all of that. So we don't want, such.
Well, it is also said in the papers that the new executive bill is more robust and comprehensive compared to the one that the Green Chambers passed. So I don't know, more robust, comprehensive sounds like.
But we just need to know the details, of what was added, basically, or removed.
Well, what was added and removed?
Police bill, yes. And also, the bill should have assurances that people will be protected from the state police being used to witch hunt people against people. So there should be checks and balances and all of that. So that really needs to be done. But hey, it's very important. We need it's a very important bill. We need the state police. Insecurity has been the order of the day in the country. So we need a new strategy, a new direction when it comes to fighting insecurity as well. Well, away from that, the CBN survey on business confidence slips amid rising operational costs. Well, that's just the reality of things. People are closing down their businesses. Small scale businesses, are closing down. People are losing their jobs because their bosses cannot afford to continue to run the business
or to pay them salaries.
Yeah, look at the cost of petrol, diesel, electricity,
gas
as well. So everything is
tomato,
just
pepper, everything is involved.
It's a whole lot. Even having to ship down your goods, to whatever say state or city, and also the most important as well. All of these are important, but a major part of why businesses thrive are when consumers can afford your goods, your services. So when your customers, the consumers are not able to
poverty.
So there's nobody to sell to. So businesses have to close down. People are going to be seeing less and less of people buying from them. So these are the problems. When there's no money in people's pockets, or the money they have in their pockets can't really get them.
They can't patronize you.
So somebody was saying how, at the end of the month, when you calculate everything, you just realize that you're not even extravagant with the money you spend.
Yeah.
Most times it's your feeding that takes a huge chunk, your transportation, because at the end of the day, you begin to feel like, oh, you're wasteful. But when you look at the reality on ground, you're probably not wasteful. It's just the normal things you do, your feeding, your transportation, and before you know, your funds are dried up. So,
but then again, when you check your transaction history, like me for my OP, when I check and I'm like, when did I get this amount of money? So I don't know if OP does add some money, but I don't think I spend that amount of money every month.
Well, then again, probably because it's buy probably just higher right now. You probably are not even doing something extraordinary, and stuff like that. Well, according to reports, price of petrol, diesel has also, gone up. $84 crude. So Nigeria can make some money, with the sale of crude, but it's also going to affect us because, according to reports, this morning people are already buying the petrol for, I think, 1,250 thereabouts. Someone said he bought one, so he's not going to buy because he's not going to drive his car.
I think it's better these days. So if you have a vehicle, just use like the normal.
Is it even cheaper? That's the problem.
I think it's cheaper.
Is it?
Realistically, I feel it's cheaper because you own a car, and let's say you leave a Masaka and you have to come to Asokoro. You can't literally 2 liters of fuel is not going to be enough for you. Let's say 5 liters, and you probably cannot use that.
Well, it also even depends on the kind of vehicle you're driving as well. So it's very important. Those people who drive maybe smaller old models, can manage and stuff like that.
Just save your money and leave your car home.
I think the price has gone up, right now, and there are also there are issues with buying crude now buying it for dollars. Dangote, according to reports, entering the dollar market and all of that. So these are problems, and will also reflect when we go to buy at the retail point as well. So it's just important to brace yourself up for those of you who will probably be queuing to buy, petrol this morning as you head on to your various place.
I heard you mentioning a husband killing his wife in Imo.
Yes, from the Daily Newscraft, husband allegedly murders wife inside Imo church.
Inside the church?
Manhunt. Yes, inside the church. That's ridiculous.
What is going on?
That's ridiculous. Inside the church.
Well,
I don't know why somebody can do that in the first place.
Outside.
No, I'm talking about doing that, first and foremost. They're now doing it in a church. It's just ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous.
I don't understand. Even people that steal offerings in churches, when you're in church, you can't go for an offering without going with your phone, because when you come back,
religious leaders I hear, the major focus is usually on money. For somebody in your church to be able to kill their wife or another person inside the church. What are you preaching?
don't move it to like
What's
the
that person
preacher.
learning?
See, you can't change the mind of a human or the but
I'm just saying in general. I'm not blaming the preacher. I'm just saying in
That's
general.
what you're implying.
No, I'm
That's
not
what
blaming the
insinuating.
preacher. I'm
What are you
saying,
preaching?
yeah,
That's
what
what
are we
you said.
preaching when it comes to religion? What are
I mean,
people
you can
listening
preach
to?
and
Are
preach.
people
Don't
being?
do this,
Are
don't
people
do that.
receiving?
But they'll still do what's in their mind. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to put it out on the preachers.
I'm not putting on the preacher. I'm saying it's two ways. There are some. Let's be realistic and
I'm being
honest.
realistic.
Let's be realistic
I'm
with
being
ourselves.
realistic.
We go on social media and we see some in quote pastors. I can even mention few of them who are all about their chains, their gold watches, their gold rings, their Ferrari, their and all of that. And we see them and they call themselves pastors. Pastors who hang out with people that we know who do fraud, who hang out with people that we know do not come to church, who do music, worldly music that we listen to. So let me not even get into all of that. But these are issues. But also the femicide, in the country is another alarming one that's been ongoing. We've talked about it on the show before. You come on the papers, you see one or two incidents, where women are killed and all of that. So that's another issue that we are facing as a people that we absolutely do need to do, better. It's very important that
and
we
sad
do
one
better.
there again, and Benue again, another sad killing, and the Ondo community. I mean, they attacked on Sunday, and they've gone back again, attacking Ondo community and killing one person. Something has to be done.
Yeah,
definitely.
When it comes to security.
I mean, it's
very
alarming.
Important. Yeah, very, very alarming. So final evacuation flight from South Africa Wednesday. Very interesting one. Final. I don't know why that's the final one. Because I remember the last flight. I was at the last flight last week. Was it Tuesday? Last week, Tuesday, the last one I remember. There were reports that there were still over 1,000 Nigerians waiting at the South African embassy. And that one, as at Tuesday last week, was just 200 and something. I don't know if there's been any other one, since last Wednesday.
Okay.
Now that's today. Wednesday, final one. 15. Why is that? All the 1,000 people who were waiting, being evacuated. So I think the federal government needs to look into
that. Why are there still so many
Nigerians
over there? I mean, they've been bringing in thousands, and there are still thousands out there.
Well, people migrate. A lot of Nigerians have migrated not long ago, so I guess those figures definitely will be high. But for every person who's interested in, I think the federal government should do their very best, to get them out of South Africa as well. I think the Edo State governor on Monday promised those who are Edo State indigenes a soft loan of ₦1 million to start up something. Well, we'll see how far that will go for them as well. Well, that's it for the papers. Just to look at the sports a little bit, the World Cup semi-final. First semi-final went down yesterday. Shocking performance from France, I must say. They lost 2-0 to Spain, and they were absolutely dominated in that match because France didn't even score a goal.
Well,
they've been scoring goals, loads of goals, and they were the favorites to win the World Cup, to be honest, going into the competition, and they showed that in most of the matches they played. If they weren't going to play, if they didn't play the first half very well, they'll come guns blazing in the second half. We have probably expected something like that yesterday in the second half, but it was just shambolic. They had no response to the Spaniards.
I think what I noticed in the match is they know how to keep the ball going. I mean, those guys.
Yeah, they had a better midfield than France, I must say.
Okay.
Yesterday. Yeah, so shout out to the Spanish national team, and hopefully, later on today at 8 p.m. as well, it's going to be England against Argentina. I'm hoping that England will be able to beat Argentina. Okay, we disagree a lot on the show. I'm just hoping that England will beat Argentina.
I'm hoping Argentina beats England.
Nah. Well, if Argentina wins, I'll be changing my nationality to Spain.
Okay.
When the final comes around.
Bet on, but
I'm English for today. I felt English today. From the part of Manchester, I feel English and all of that, rooting for England and my United boys as well. So come on, England, let's bring it.
Come on, Argentina, let's bring it in.
All right, so that's it for sports and the papers this morning. It's Wednesday, and hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. Keep listening to this dial, Ray Power 100.5 FM, because there's still so much for you on this dial. 8:30 Fact File, 9 a.m. It will be time for Political Platform. You can also stream that live on YouTube and watch live on our sister station, AIT. My name is Trix.
And I am Nice Forth. Have a good day ahead.
Yes, and we leave you in the hands of our star and Peggy. This one's called Woman.
Providing 360 degrees of information and entertainment. Reloaded for today's Niger.
Ray Power. Ray Power.
Ray Power.
Ray Power. Ray Power.
Nigeria's original independent radio station.